a great day in Maryland, and welcome to the first Governor's Business Summit. This is something that we started working on a long time ago. We've got a great day planned for everyone, terrific speakers, terrific panels, but there's somebody that some of you know that I'd like to introduce to get our day really rocking and rolling. He's a businessman, he's a public servant, like myself. We didn't spend any time in government and before these positions we're in. And what have we done 2.5 years? Taxes are down, fees are down, the regulatory environment is more supportive of businesses, and we're just getting started. So it's my great honor to introduce my friend, the 62nd Governor of Maryland, and the individual who has made Maryland open for business, Governor Larry Hogan.
Wow, thank you. Thank you all very, very much. Those are some bright lights out there. I feel like I'm in Hollywood. Well, thank you very much. Maryland certainly is open for business. I want to just say thank you and good morning. Mike, thank you for the great job that you and your team are doing at Commerce. And we've got a tremendous group of people out here in the audience. I can't see any of them, but I know that they're out there. We are sold out. We've got 700 business leaders from all over the state here today at our first summit. And I really just want to start out by saying thank you. Not only thank you for coming to this event today, but more importantly, for the critical role that you have all been playing in the incredible economic resurgence that we're experiencing here in Maryland. And I also like to thank the Maryland Marketing Partnership and all of the sponsors and organizers for their efforts in making this event possible today. Mike said you're going to have a great day today. I'm very excited about it. You have a great list of guest speakers you're going to hear from, like John Harbaugh, our coach of the Baltimore Ravens. I just love the guy, and I'm not sure exactly what topics he's going to cover this afternoon, but I can tell you that he knows a thing or two about the importance of momentum. And I can tell you, all of you this morning, that the state of Maryland has momentum big time. We had the best year for business in Maryland in 15 years, which led to the best year for job growth in 15 years. 3/4 of all the people in Maryland are approving of the job that we're doing, and they feel that Maryland is finally heading in the right direction. I'm hoping maybe that the Ravens could catch a little of our Maryland momentum. Maybe have their best season in 15 years. But a little over 2 years ago, I stood on the steps of our historic State House in Annapolis, and I promised to put our state on a new path. I promised to create a more business-friendly future for Maryland. And as I was taking the oath of office, at that very same moment, signs were changing all across our state on our state highways to say, "Welcome to Maryland, we're open for business." Now, I think they used to say, "What's in your wallet?" I'm not sure what the slogan used to be, but saying that we're open for business wasn't just a catchy slogan to put on our state highway signs. It actually it defines our mission. It's who we are. It's why I ran for governor. We said we were going to help our businesses grow, put more Marylanders back to work, and turn our economy around, and we have been doing exactly what we said we would do. Maryland's economy is stronger than it's been in more than a decade. We've cut our unemployment rate down to 4.3%, added more than 100,000 jobs, and the people in this room have been a big, huge part of that success. You here in this room are the job creators. You're the backbone of our economy, and your success has been Maryland's success. Like many of you here in the room, I spent my whole life in business, in the private sector. Started a few businesses and ran them and grew them. This is actually, as Mike said, first elective office I've ever held. I ran for governor because the state that I loved, state that I grew up in and started my businesses in, was in real trouble. We were way off track, heading in the wrong direction. Businesses, jobs, and taxpayers were fleeing our state in droves. We'd lost 8,000 businesses and 100,000 jobs, and our state economy ranked 49th out of 50 states. I ran for governor promising to turn our state economy around, and we have. In addition to having the best year for business in 15 years and going from losing 100,000 jobs to adding 100,000 jobs, Maryland's overall economic performance has grown from 49th to the 10th best overall economic performance in the United States. Now, immediately after being sworn in, January 15, I went up to the governor's office for the very first time. We hadn't even put pictures on the walls or anything like that. I walked in and had a stack of papers sitting on the desk, and I immediately, 5 minutes after becoming governor, eliminated over 100 job-killing regulations. We're not done yet. We're just getting started. We have a little over 200 more that you'll be hearing about sometime soon. The day after I was sworn in, the very next morning, it was kind of a long night after the inaugural ball, but we submitted the very first balanced budget in our state in a decade, which eliminated 90% of the $5.1 billion structural deficit that I inherited. We did it without raising taxes, and in fact, we've now completed 3 budgets in a row with no new taxes in Maryland. In fact, believe it or not, we've actually cut taxes 3 years in a row, which is something just previously unheard of and unthinkable here in Maryland. But we are getting it done. Again, we're just getting started, and we've got a lot more to do. We eliminated or reduced 255 fees all across state government for $120 million. We cut tolls at every single facility in the state. For the first time, tolls have been cut in more than 50 years. We sent $200 million in personal income tax rebates to overtaxed Marylanders. It was the largest tax refund in the history of our state. And we put all of this money back into the pockets of Marylanders, hardworking Marylanders and small businesses, and back into our rapidly growing economy. When I ran for governor, I also promised that we would rebuild our state's transportation infrastructure, because after 8 years of neglect and mismanagement, and after $1 billion was siphoned from the Transportation Trust Fund, we had crumbling roads and bridges and some of the worst traffic congestion in the nation. Once again, we took action immediately, doing exactly what we said we would do. We're moving forward now on nearly all of the top priority transportation projects in every single jurisdiction all across the state of Maryland. We inherited 69 structurally deficient bridges, and we're fixing every single one of them. We invested an additional $2 billion in new transportation projects, and we've got $8.6 billion in our consolidated transportation plan. As we're sitting here in this room, nearly 1,000 transportation projects from one end of Maryland to the other are currently under construction all across the state. It's historic, it's unprecedented, and it is helping us grow our Maryland economy. We went from last place in the Mid-Atlantic region in job creation to first place in the Mid-Atlantic region for job creation and one of the best in the nation. A recent study ranked Maryland as the 5th most innovative state in America. We're 3rd among all 50 states for entrepreneurial business growth. We're 3rd in the nation for research and development activity, 2nd among all 50 states for concentration of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics employment, and 4th in the nation in the number of science and engineering degree holders. We are very proud that Maryland now has the 2nd lowest percentage of people living below the poverty rate in the nation, and that Maryland has the highest median household income of any state in the United States of America. That one's worth a clap. That one's pretty good. Together, we really have created an exciting resurgence of economic activity in our state. But let me just share with you just a few of the hundreds of recent success stories. McCormick, which is such an iconic 128-year-old company, Maryland company, we worked with them very hard, and they've committed to staying and expanding in Maryland. I just couldn't imagine Old Bay being made in Pennsylvania, can you? I mean, we just would not let that happen. We recently negotiated a deal with Marriott, another world-renowned Maryland company. We're so proud that they also committed to staying and growing right here in Maryland. They're building a brand new $600 million corporate headquarters. And you're all going to get the chance to hear very shortly from their great president and CEO, Arne Sorensen, just a few minutes. Northrop Grumman, one of our state's largest employers, has committed to staying and expanding, maintaining 10,000 jobs in our state. Under Armour, such a great homegrown Maryland company that's so proud of Maryland and Baltimore, they announced plans to open their new e-commerce distribution center at Trade Point Atlantic. So you'll be hearing a little bit later also from Tom Geddes of Plank Industries. During our recent very successful trade mission to Israel, we had the opportunity to meet all of the top leadership of Israeli defense giant Elta Systems Limited. They're the ones that do the Iron Dome. We got a commitment that the company's U.S. affiliate, Elta North America, would triple its footprint in Maryland and add more jobs over the next few years. Just last week, I cut the ribbon on this expansion of Elta in Howard County. And later this afternoon, you'll be hearing from the leader of Elta's cyber division, Esti Peshin. These are just a couple of the hundreds of success stories that have been happening all over the state of Maryland. The bottom line is that businesses are moving to and expanding in our state, and Maryland truly is open for business. We've moved into the top 10 states in the nation for overall economic performance. Just about a month ago, U.S. News and World Report rated the best states in the country, compiling data on 68 different categories, and I'm proud to report, according to U.S. News and World Report, Maryland beat out 42 other states, and we're now ranked the best state in the United States of America. But we're just getting started. We still have an awful lot of work that lies ahead so that we can continue this momentum and so that Maryland can lead the way in growing areas like cybersecurity, innovation, and entrepreneurship. A few weeks ago, I was proud to sign our More Jobs for Marylanders Act, which will provide tax incentives for the creation of thousands more jobs in areas where we need them the most. This morning, we are launching a new exciting, comprehensive statewide economic development strategy called Excel Maryland. Everybody's clapping, they don't even know what it is yet. I'll just leave it at that. We're going to. Excel Maryland will be focused on new collaborative strategies to accelerate growth in some of the sectors where Maryland is already leading, including the life sciences, cybersecurity industries. You know, our state is home to hundreds of life sciences companies that set the bar for biotechnology innovation and fuel our state's innovative economy. And in the emerging field of cybersecurity, Maryland has become the cyber capital of America. And our nation's premier cyber-related federal agencies and intelligent assets are located right here in Maryland. We're home to more than 1,200 cybersecurity companies. Today's launch of Excel Maryland will help pool the talents of all of our state agencies, our universities, and our private sector industry experts to help us create an environment in Maryland where more companies can start their companies up here in Maryland and then stay here and continue growing their companies here in Maryland. The Maryland Departments of Commerce and Labor Licensing and Regulation, in partnership with Johns Hopkins University and the University System of Maryland, will be working together with the Maryland Economic Development Corporation to undertake this new and exciting initiative designed to accelerate innovation-driven commercial activity and economic development. Today, we're appointing a board made up of some of Maryland's top cyber and life sciences CEOs who will share their expertise and their unique perspectives on what our state can do to help them grow their innovation economy. Some of these CEOs are well-known leaders in their industries, like Bahija Jalal of MedImmune and Stephanie Hill of Lockheed Martin. Others are maybe the potential Forbes 400s of tomorrow, like Robert Lord, who I just met out in the hallway, of Pro Tennis, and Bill Nyland of Harpoon Medical. They're both fresh out of our incubator programs, and they are just the kind of entrepreneurs that we want to keep here, growing their businesses in Maryland. I want to thank all of our great Excel Maryland board members for their willingness to serve, and especially our co-chairs, Bob Corrett, the Chancellor of the University of Maryland System, and Ron Daniels, the President of Johns Hopkins University. Let's give them all a big round of applause. And I'm excited that Dr. Susan Wyndham Bannister will be leading analysis for our Excel Maryland team. Dr. Bannister was the architect of the Massachusetts Life Sciences Center, which rocketed Massachusetts to become #1 in the United States in life sciences employment on a per capita basis. Dr. Bannister is recognized globally for delivering results. And with her guidance, the Maryland Economic Development Corporation and the Excel Maryland team will draw upon the work of groups like the Life Sciences Advisory Board and the Economic Alliance of Greater Baltimore to conduct an exhaustive review and to get the input of all the key stakeholders throughout the cyber and life sciences communities, not just here inside of Maryland, but outside of Maryland as well. I'm charging this amazing team, we'll call them the dream team maybe, with delivering a set of initial strategic recommendations by August 31st, because we're pretty impatient. We want to get things moving. We're looking for a blueprint to strengthen our innovation economy in order to cement Maryland as not just the cyber capital of America, but the cyber capital of the world, and to not just be a leader in the life sciences, but to compete with Massachusetts for the life sciences capital of the world. I just want to, again, thank all of you for joining us today for this first annual Governor's Business Summit. I want to thank you for being such an important part of our economic momentum and success. Maryland is open for business, and together we've made incredible progress over the past 2 years. It truly is an honor for me to be able to serve as your governor, and I promise to keep giving this job everything I've got every single day that I'm given. And with your help, I really believe that we can and we will continue to change Maryland for the better. So thank you so much for being here today.